Hello everybody, welcome back to the channel and to this new chapter in the saga of the Lidl Glider conversion. So, in case you didn't see the last chapter was about flying the 3-engine version with its own challenges. It did kind of fly, but the elevator fluttered and I lost control, so it crashed. Here's the propeller that was there, so I'm going to use this as a pointer. More damage has been done. The plan for this one now is to actually turn it into a twin engine. So basically I've already removed the middle engine, and there's still other things that have to be fixed. So first thing, or one of the things that has to be done, is I need to put better hinges on the elevator, because I think maybe it was one of the reasons for the flutter was that it's just like normal tape. Maybe I'll use something like duct tape or something like that. It could also be because of all the prop wash that went over the elevator that caused the flutter and then caused me to lose control. And then out of that crash, there's several damages other than this one. Evidently, one propeller blade on this engine is gone, so I've got to change that propeller. And the other one I think survived, which is okay, but the engine mount is completely loose. I don't know if you can actually see it. Maybe you can see it if it wobbles. You see it's completely loose. That means that I need to take it apart, re-glue it together and re-put it and put it in place again. The other one seems to be kind of holding itself, which is good. What other damage has been done? There's damage to the fuselage. I put some tape on it here just to keep it together, because let's see if I take it off just to show you with one hand. There, maybe you can see it. There's damage here to the cockpit area, so basically almost all the cockpit area wanted to fall off. It's just on this side, which is good, and I think with some hot glue I'll be able to fix that. And then of course the big challenge is going to be then the electronics. I have removed already the ESC because I want to use it on another model, and the engine because I was testing on the other model that isn't working. So what I have to figure out is what kind of cabling I need here. So basically I need to rewire the whole thing to make sure that that I have enough energy to go to both motors, and that's going to be a signal to go to both motors, and that's going to be challenging. Another challenge is of course also the center of gravity. If I take the motor off here, I take the battery out of here, and the ESC is also gone from here, then I might end up with a tail heavy plane. So I'm going to need to maybe rethink also that whole design. So quite a lot of engineering. The first step I think is going to be just to remove the cowlings, to fix the engines in place, and fix the parts that are broken. Maybe do the controls, and also then test out the electronics. So quite a big task actually. One would think that it's easy just to remove an engine and let it fly, but it's not like that. So let's see. So far with the model I'm kind of happy. With one engine it did fly. I even managed to put a camera on it once, which was good. Did have some crashes, as you might be able to see also in the rear part of the fuselage. It also broke in two once. The 3-engine version was too heavy, had to fly very fast, and then it had the flutter. So I'm hoping that with the twin-engine version it's not going to be as heavy, and therefore we'll be able to fly. That's kind of the hope, but we'll see how we get to it. So follow me along on this one. This is going to be another challenging remake of the Lidl Glider, so also fun. And some progress in the upgrade, downgrade, rebuild of the Lidl. Let me show you what I've done. So I've added 2 more hinges on the elevator. It's basically small strips of duct tape equivalent, and I've put also some thread to make sure that the hinges are stiff and stuck together, and I think it looks good. In theory I could put more, but it's very difficult to work with that material, so I've decided to leave it as is. I've then pulled the 2 engines, and here I have them. I found out when I was taking them off that actually all the connections, all these fixtures were broken or half broken. So I took them all off and re-glued them. This indicates that this is a weak connection. So it is what it is. Let's say it like that. So I'm thinking maybe I could strengthen them with maybe strips of ply or something. But I think if it flies, it holds. If it crashes, it doesn't. So I just have to avoid crashing. So what I have to do then is again mount them. This is the right one, so this one will go in here. Also the little pegs that I had, which are basically skewer sticks, they all broke, both of them broke, so I've got another one, so I'll use another one to fix it in place. And I need to change also the propeller, and then I'm also thinking about weight, which is I'm probably going to put the batteries, I don't have them here now, beside the ESCs, which means I might not be able to put on the cowlings, or maybe yes. I have to see when I do that. Also, actually, before I forget, the first thing I did was to make sure that the electronics would work, so I had to take out a Y cable. One of the cables, of the red cables, I had taken it out from the connector to eliminate the BEC, so it just has one BEC, so the receiver just needs one red connector going into it, so as not to have too many. I don't know what happens if it has more. I just saw on the internet that it just has to have one. So the first thing I did was reconnect it and try out the electronics, and it seemed to be working, so that's all well and good. So the next one is going to be then weight, of course, right? I've also put in some hot glue into this crack. I kind of stuffed it as much as I could, and then I also put on some tape. And one of the good things of being a hoarder, one of the few cases where it actually pays off, is that I still managed to find the old nose that I'd cut off. I did leave inside there the engine mount, because I didn't want to just rip it off. And I might actually downgrade it again to a single engine one at some point, right? But anyhow, then I glued it on with some hot glue, and then put on again of the tape on, and I think it's relatively sturdy. Also, this seems relatively sturdy with the tape and the glue. It seems to be sturdy. So next steps is going to be find another propeller and mount on the engines, relocate the batteries, and then maybe in the next update it'll be already an engine run. So let's see how that goes. So still being a fun build or rebuild. So engines and one new propeller mounted. The center of gravity does seem to be a little bit to the back, which is logical. So I've got to figure out still how to move the batteries a little bit forward and hopefully get the center of gravity spot on. But let me move back a little bit, and let's try to do a bit of a run up. Let's see what happens. Control check. To the right, to the left, up, down, rudder, right, left. And now the motors. They come up at the same time, which is good. So quite good. I think one of the wheels might be broken, but I managed to go to full power and it did hold itself. So looks promising. Just the battery location, check the wheel again, and try to put the cowlings on. And finally the conversion is done. So what I've done, I've added some weight into the nose, I think like 25 or 35, I have it, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 25 grams. Still I would feel that the center of gravity could be further forward, but I hope to be able to control with the elevator if that is the case. I have now the transmitter on and I'm going to connect the batteries. I did have challenges with the batteries, and that's probably the result of having second-hand batteries and bad quality batteries. So I've put now one of the one that is kind of the good one, and one of the new ones, which is the one that seems to actually hold out, because the engines were cutting off whenever I had a bad battery on. So now it seems to be in place. What else? Yes, then for the flying, my concern now is that it's disturbing the airflow. I have the battery stuck as far forward as I can and inboard, but it's disturbing the airflow because I can't put the cowlings on, they're too small. So what I'm thinking of is, what is the disturbance of the airflow and creating lift? So we only have kind of the outboard part of the wings creating lift, so I hope it's enough. And what is the other concern? Center of gravity, lift, drag, of course. And also another one is having the batteries fall out, because they're stuck here with Velcro, which I think they can hold. I do, if I put it upside down they don't fall, right? But maybe in flight they might fall. So I'm thinking whenever I go and fly with this, which I'm not sure when it'll be, I'll maybe tape them on with some masking tape also, just to kind of make sure they don't fall off. If they get loose in flight, then the whole center of gravity would go bonkers, and then it would spell disaster. So now we can test. I've got also flaperons. I don't know if you can see it. Let me put it like that so you can see the flaperons. Flaps 1, flaps 2. I have experimented with that. I don't see any big difference. That's because of my flying skills. So ailerons, elevator. The elevator seems to be working well. And then motors, we can do a bit of a run up. So quite a lot of stress on the landing gear. I was putting the elevator up so it doesn't come over the hump, but overall seems to be holding together. So that's it. So I'll take the batteries off, have to remember which ones they are, and then I'll hang it up again from the curtain rail and wait for the opportunity to go and fly it, and hopefully the twin will fare better than the tri-motor. Thank you everybody for following along and watching, and all your tips and recommendations, and I'll see you next time.